People say your imagination can't hurt you. They tell you it's all in your head, that the monsters you see in the dark are just tricks of the mind. But Evan Miller learned something different, something terrifying. He learned that your mind can invent monsters, and sometimes those monsters learn how to step outside your head. 18-year-old Evan Miller had a habit. It wasn't dangerous, just a little strange. He spent his nights watching old cartoons, the weird ones from the 80s he'd find on obscure websites. Shows filled with bright colors, bizarre characters, and smiling clowns with ice cream-shaped heads. Most nights, he'd watch until his eyes burned and the screen blurred. But one night, as he reached to shut off the TV, he heard something. It was Find, drifting through his open window on the quiet night air. Soft, childlike. A tune he recognized instantly. Ding, ding, do, ding. It was the ice cream jingle from one of the cartoons he'd just been watching, but it wasn't coming from the TV. The show had ended. Evan froze, listening to the silence that followed. He whispered to himself, probably just imagining it. He let out a nervous laugh and went to bed, but the tune followed him, echoing faintly in his ears long after he closed his eyes. The next night, it happened again. Right as the clock on his bedside table hit 12:20 a.m., the music returned. The same tune, but slightly louder. This time, anxious, Evan crept to his bedroom window and pulled the curtain aside. And there it was, a small, rusty ice cream truck, creeping slowly down the street. The paint was peeling, its headlights were dim, and the stickers of smiling cartoon ice cream cones were faded, as if they'd been bleached by the sun for decades. But it was the driver that made the blood in Evan's veins turn to ice. A clone mask, white and cracked, with a huge red smile carved far too wide, stretching unsettlingly across its face. Evan blinked hard, rubbing his eyes, and just like that, the truck vanished. It was just gone. The street was empty again, silent, as if nothing had ever been there. The next morning, Evan tried to tell his mom. Laura didn't even look up from packing her lunch for work. "You stayed up too late again, honey. You're dreaming while you're awake?" she said, her voice gentle but dismissive. Evan didn't argue. He knew she was probably right, but a small, cold voice inside him whispered, "You weren't imagining it. You saw him." On the third night, Evan avoided the cartoons. He tried to go to sleep early, desperate for a normal night. But the moment the clock blinked 12:15 a.m., the tune started again. This time it was slow, broken, like a music box winding down for the last time. Ding, ding, do, ding. Evan's heart hammered against his ribs. He didn't want to look. He was terrified of what he might see. But he had to know. He forced himself to the window. The truck was there, right in front of his house. It was frozen in place. Lights off, engine silent. The clown was standing outside the truck, facing the house. Facing him. Even though the mask hid everything, Evan felt its empty gaze burning right into him. He stumbled backward, tripping over a chair and crashing to the floor. When he scrambled up and looked again, both the truck and the clown were gone. There was no sound, not a single tire mark on the road. Nothing. The next day, Officer Henry Clarke stopped by. Evan's mom, Laura, had called him, her worry finally getting the best of her. "Evan?" Officer Clarke said kindly, sitting across from him in the living room. "You've been staying up too long. The mind plays tricks when it's tired." Evan just whispered, "I saw him." Clarke nodded slowly. He didn't seem dismissive, more like someone who had heard a story like this before. "You're probably imagining someone harmless," Clarke said. "There hasn't been an ice cream truck in this town for years. The last one shut down a long time ago." But Evan started, but Clarke raised a hand. "If you see it again, don't go near it. Even your own imagination can scare you." His tone was soft, but it carried a strange weight. A little too heavy, like he wasn't telling Evan the whole truth. That night was the final night. Evan tried to sleep, a reality deed, but his eyes snapped open at 12:14 a.m., 1 minute early. The melody didn't start outside. This time, it started inside his head. Ding. Ding. Do. Ding. He covered his ears, but it only grew louder. He sat up, his chest tightening with panic. Then, a light flashed outside his window. White, bright, pulsing. He forced himself to look. The truck was there again, but this time, it wasn't on the street. It was in his driveway. Its headlights flickered like dying candles, and the clown stepped out. This time, he moved slowly, unnaturally, like a puppet being tugged by invisible strings. He turned his masked head toward Evan's window and lifted one gloved hand. He waved. It was a slow, wrong motion, as if his wrist wasn't working properly. Then, in a voice that sounded like a whooped, distorted recording, he whispered, "Iveon, come get your ice cream." Evan stumbled away from the window, a scream tearing from his throat. His mother, Laura, burst into the room, her heart racing. "What is it? What's wrong?" Evan pointed frantically at the window. "He's there. The clown. The truck." She ran to the curtain and tore it open. Nothing. Just the empty driveway and the silent street. Evan's entire body was shaking. "I swear he was right there." Laura pulled him into a tight hug. "Baby, you're scaring yourself. These cartoons, the late nights, they're messing with your head." Evan cried into her shoulder, defeated, but as he looked past her, he saw something in the dark reflection of the window glass that she didn't. A mask, white, cracked, grinning, standing right behind his own reflection. After that night, Evan never saw the truck again. Not outside, not on the street, but sometimes, late at night, when he closes his eyes, he can still hear the jingle playing softly inside his mind. Some people in town will tell you that your imagination can't hurt you. But Evan knows the truth now. Sometimes, the things you imagine start imagining you back. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more horror stories from Horror Signal TV.